Okay, so, in part one, we met a man who accidentally became king of the richest empire on Earth. Today, he accidentally breaks an entire country's economy, then fixes it, then breaks it again. And somehow, that's not even the craziest part of this story. This is Mansa Musa Part 2. And honestly, I still can't believe this actually happened. July 1324. Cairo, the biggest, richest, most sophisticated city in the Islamic world. Nearly 1 million people, centuries of trade, every single transaction calculated down to the gram. And then this guy shows up. With 60,000 people, 80 camels, each camel carrying 300 pounds of gold, and he starts just giving it away. Not trading it, not investing it, just handing it out. To random people, on the street, gold to the poor, gold to the mosques, gold to merchants who didn't ask for it. He gave the way most people breathe, without thinking about it. And here's what nobody in Cairo saw coming. When you dump that much gold into a city, the gold stops being valuable, there's too much of it. The price collapses in 3 months. 3 months, Mansa Musa single-handedly crashed Egypt's entire economy. Prices went insane. Businesses that took generations to build were destroyed overnight. Al-Umari, a historian who was actually there, wrote, "The value of gold fell and has remained cheap." This has been the state of affairs for about 12 years. 12 years of economic damage from one man's vacation. But wait, it gets worse. Because when Musa realized what he'd done, he tried to fix it. He started borrowing gold back from Cairo's merchants at high interest rates, pulling gold out of the economy to stabilize prices, and it actually worked. The damage started to reverse, and then he repaid all the loans at once, every single one, in one massive lump sum, and flooded the market with gold all over again. He broke Cairo, fixed it, broke it again, 3 times, one trip. Now, historians still argue about this. Was he just incredibly naive? Or did the man who controlled 2/3 of the world's gold supply know exactly what he was doing? We'll come back to that. But first, something happened in the Sultan's palace that nobody expected. Before leaving Egypt, Musa met the Mamluk Sultan, basically the most powerful military ruler alive. This guy had one rule. You enter his throne room, you bow, flat on the floor, face down, every king, every ambassador, no exceptions, ever. Mansa Musa looked him in the eye and said, "I bow only to God." Just said no to the most powerful military ruler in the world. As a guest, in his palace, surrounded by his guards, and walked out. Now here's the part that makes absolutely no sense. Shortly after this, the richest human being in history went completely broke. Not kinda broke, completely broke. He had to borrow 50,000 gold coins from a random merchant in Alexandria just to afford the trip home. The man who crashed Egypt's economy with too much gold couldn't afford a ride back. And that right there, that tells you everything about who this man actually was. He didn't give to show off. He didn't give for politics. He gave because something inside him wouldn't let him stop. That's not a king. That's something much rarer. But what he did when he got home is what separates Mansa Musa from every other ruler in history. He came back broke, but he came back with a vision. The Jinga Bear Mosque, he built that. It's still standing. 700 years later, people pray there today, right now, in 2026. While the rest of the world was stumbling through the dark ages, Timbuktu became the smartest city on earth. Scholars traveled from across the world to study there, and his reputation got so loud that Europe had to pay attention. In 1375, European mapmakers created the most important map ever made, the Khat Ahlan Atlas, and right in the center of West Africa, they drew one man sitting on a golden throne, holding a nugget of gold, his name written beside him, Mansa Musa, because when you're that powerful, you don't find the world finds you. But that map changed everything, and not in the way you think. Mansa Musa died around 1337. We think he just stopped appearing in the records. The man who broke economies and built universities and altered world maps just disappeared. And here's the uncomfortable part. His own people criticized him. The griots, West Africa's oral historians, the people whose entire job was to remember. They said he was reckless, that he wasted his empire's wealth on strangers. The man the world celebrates as history's greatest king was called a fool by his own people. But the real tragedy, nobody saw it coming. That map, the Khat Ahlan Atlas, the one that proved Musa was too powerful to ignore. It made Europe obsessed with African gold. That obsession triggered the Age of Discovery, which sent Portuguese ships around the African coast, which opened the door to colonization, which began the transatlantic slave trade. The most generous man who ever lived accidentally triggered the darkest chapter in African history. There's a Yoruba saying, "The wealth which enslaves the owner isn't wealth." Mansa Musa had no idea his gold would eventually enslave his continent. He just wanted forgiveness. This is Crown and Pulse. If you think history is boring, stick around. We're just getting started. New video next Thursday. Subscribe so you don't miss it.